I love this purple tank top because it's super comfy. We're going to jump right into the videos today. Another Am I the A-hole? Just a couple of interesting stories just to make our decision. The first story is from Ambitious Condition 66. Am I the a-hole for not letting a girl take my sweater the first time we hung out? I, 22 male, had a girl come over last night after she was at the bar with her friends. We had only connected through Instagram the day before, and I really couldn't tell what her name was from her username. We had a fun night talking about life and catching up on the horror movies from this year. At some point, she said she was cold and asked for a sweater. I gave her my favorite one. I have 3 total. And then we went to sleep. When she woke up, she asked me to pay for her Uber, to which I said I could not, needed to eat this week. She then said okay and ordered her own. As she was leaving, she said, "I'm taking your sweater. You may or may not get this back." To which I responded, "I wish I could let you take it, but I only have a few sweaters and that's my favorite one." This was because I had just met her and did not even know her name, and there was a high probability we would never talk to each other again. We then awkwardly half argued back and forth for a few minutes until she finally took it off. She said bye and walked out of my room and out of my apartment without looking at me again. Am I the a-hole for not letting her take my sweater? No, just right off the bat, no. You guys just met each other. You were right about that. You just met each other. She doesn't need to be taking any items of your clothing, especially if you have very few. Now, the taking of the sweater, that's girlfriend behavior. Trust me, I take my boyfriend's sweaters all the time. He doesn't mind because he knows where they're going to end up. We live in the same house. But as far as you just met this person the day before, you don't know their full real name, and you're likely never going to see them again, and it's your favorite sweater? Nah, not the a-hole. This is from Fairy Wings 199. Am I the a-hole for not lending money to a friend? I got issues with, I have ideas about lending money. We'll talk about it after we read the story. About a week ago, it was announced that a famous K-pop group was going to come to my country and hold a concert in April. My 23 female friends, A, 21 female, and D, 19 female, were so excited about this. And so was I, because I had just begun to listen to them. But we were anxious about the whole thing because we literally had 4 days to prepare ourselves. A told our friend group that she was going to find a way to get money. So I don't get how she thought that I would be the one to lend her the money for the ticket. I told her I was going to the concert thanks to my mom because she gifted me the tickets as a Christmas present. Otherwise, I wouldn't have thought of going. Then she asked her parents for money. At first, they gave her hope, but when she asked them a second time, they told her they didn't have any, so she wasn't going. My friends and I felt bad for her since she has been a fan of the K-pop group for years, and this was going to be her only chance to see them live. I talked to my mom about the situation, and without me saying anything, she agreed on lending her the money for the ticket. I immediately refused because, 1, I didn't know if she was going to pay me soon, more like her parents were, since she doesn't have a job and they can't afford it right now. And 2, she has a weird behavior towards me and our friend group that for me is getting annoying since we haven't been bad to her in any way. So there is a tiny little update to this, but I'm going to give my opinion at the end right now about this. Don't lend out money that you can't afford to lose. That's it. If you're going to lend out money, assume that you will never see that money again. That way, when you get paid back, it's a pleasant surprise. But if you don't, you knew what you were getting into. anytime I lend out money, very rarely, I assume that I'm never getting that back. So, and also for the girl acting kind of weird, but then to ask the friend to lend the money or whatever, I don't know, that's a little weird. I mean, she didn't really ask, the friend asked told her parents about the situation, and then the parents offered to pay for the ticket, but then she was like, nah. So the friend didn't really ask yet, as the way that she wrote this story, but still, her weird behavior is enough for, the OP to tell her mom, no, I don't really want to do that. Yeah, I don't really want to do that. So, on to the little update. And I have a little update from when I started writing this. A has told D that she hates me, but didn't give out a reason for it. But I'm assuming it's because I'm going to the concert, and I think she is jealous of me. Not only this time, but has always been. Maybe it's because we have different lifestyles, and from what she has told me and the rest of our friend group, her parents are not loving and caring, and mine are in comparison. But I don't know. I didn't tell my friends my mom wanted to lend A money. And I feel a little guilty because it's like I'm crushing her dreams, but at the same time, she hasn't been a good friend to me. So am I the a-hole? No. The friend didn't ask. Your parents asked if they, if it would be a good idea to lend her the money for the tickets. So A, nobody knows. Okay, so it's not that big of a deal. And B, the fact that she's not a good friend and she's kind of iffy towards you makes it even easier to just don't lend the money. That's it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Last story. This one is from JK Worlds. Am I the a-hole for telling my dad's ex she can't stay with us even if she was evicted and lost her car keys at our house? I have been living with and caring for my father, who has dementia from Parkinson's and strokes for the past few years. A few months ago, one of his ex-girlfriends comes over and he starts telling me that we need to give her stuff, like one of his cars, because she's fallen on hard times. My dad is pretty easily manipulated in his current state, so this rang a lot of alarms. Yesterday, she rang a giant alarm bell when she showed up with her car full of stuff out of nowhere and pretended she couldn't leave. I say pretend because when it came time for her to leave, she said it was too dark for her to drive home, even if she found her keys. I told her she can't stay with us as we really don't have the space. She should try looking for her keys some more or figuring out how she's getting to a hotel she said that she had already rented. She said okay and went to her car and sat in complete darkness without turning on a cab light for 45 minutes. Then came back. I'm sorry. What? You sat in your dark car for 45 minutes and didn't think that nobody was going to notice? Okay. Then came back in and said she can't find them and tried looking everywhere and she can't leave even if she found them anyways. I asked how. If it's too dark to drive, would she find her keys in her dark car without turning on a light? And she said, well, I was trying to compose myself, even slurring her words. Literally, like if you asked an actor to tell the most unconvincing, drunken lie possible. Then said she was frazzled because I was trying to rush her and I need to respect my elders more. So I flat out asked her if she was drunk and she changed the subject. I asked her again what she was doing in her car in the dark that whole time, since she can't see, and she walked back to her car without saying anything. I found out from my dad that her car is full of her belongings because she was just evicted from her apartment due to refusing to pay her rent because she felt like she was being overcharged at one of the cheapest places in town. What I think is happening is she doesn't have anywhere to go and was hoping she could just force us into letting her stay. I drove her to the hotel she said she rented and asked her again what was she doing in her car in the dark. She said she was in hell, just sitting in a car with me and would never want to live with us. And she was feeling around in the dark for her keys. I told her that's really unbelievable and she needs to get her stuff today without any problems. I am worried she will insist the keys are gone for good or just anything to try and invade our lives and keep this going as long as possible. My dad has already helped her out with money once and she seems desperate. Now, this one, one, they don't have the space. Two, the kid is already overworked by taking care of a dad with multiple medical conditions. And obviously the dad's not working. So this kid is doing the working, the taking care of the dad. He's not also taking care of someone who's also old enough to be his dad's girlfriend. You know, I'm sorry, you're a grown woman. And two, you can't just stop paying your rent because you feel like you're being overcharged. Now, there are ways to, quote unquote, withhold rent, but it has to be done a legal way. The money that you would have been paying towards rent needs to be held in an escrow account, and you need to file the proper paperwork that is what you're doing and why you are doing it. And until the issues are fixed with management, that's when you start paying the rent again. And you have that, like, see here, I can pay the rent, but I'm withholding the rent because they're not fixing X, Y, and Z. Okay? You can't just not pay the rent and then say, oh, I was withholding it. You can't do that. You're gonna get in trouble for it every time. It doesn't look right. And so first of all, well, not first of all, but, to answer the question, no, you're not the a-hole. You have enough on your plate. This woman is not your responsibility. Okay? Not your dad's responsibility. They're not even going together. That's his ex. Okay? And I'm pretty sure she's A, lying about the keys, and B, lying about what hotel she's staying at, if she's even staying at a hotel. And to be on top of that, and she's drunk. Nah. Cut it right there. All right, well, thanks for joining me today. Again, my name is Kelly. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and bye.